What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. Here for another week of streaming and another game at the weekend. We've got a good streamer with me today. Good guy, great guy on the scene. One of the people that I respect a lot in this YouTube game. I had a whole intro plan for this guy when I asked him to come on, but things have been a bit different over the last few days. But let me just introduce to you from AFTV Turkish London. How's it going, man?
It's going. No, that's how it's going. It's going. But yeah, man, big up you, man. Obviously, we arranged this from a little while ago now, so I like to remain committed to what I've said yes to, and you're my guy, innit? So it goes past YouTube with you. So it's a pleasure to be on, man. It's a pleasure to be on.
Yeah, man, it's great to have you on, and it was good news as well, because at the time when I asked Turkish to come on, I didn't even realize he was full-time at AFTV now. So I was thinking, oh my days, I think I've missed the window to get this guy on. But yeah, just talk about AFTV being a member now in difference to just giving in videos. What's the difference there?
It's just more commitment to it, really. Obviously, up until now, a lot of people were like, I thought he already was AFTV. And my thing is, I've had my private life, my job, my professional career, I've had that to concentrate on. That's always been my priority. But with my YouTube channel growing at the same time, and opportunity arising at AFTV with more work and more responsibility, it was a case of having to analyze and think about what's next, and it's a risk. Obviously, my professional career is completely left field from any of this. I was a project manager for Royal Mail, so this is completely different. But I think it's the right time for me to take that risk. I think that it's a risk worth taking. I think I get a lot of support out there, and it's all just come. It feels like fate to me. It feels like the stars are aligning in a sense where it is the right path to follow, regardless of me thinking it's a risk. And I tend to limit risks in life. I tend to try and take as few risks as possible. You have to take risks to step up the ladder, but those are the necessary risks. With other risks, I try to limit them. But yeah, Robbie hollered me, more responsibility, more shows, more content, my type of view. It's currently not there at AFTV.
It's not.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it makes sense for AFTV, for Robbie. It makes sense for me too, because I can only bang on the same drum for a period of time without having the audience. I've got 40K on my channel, and I do go on AFTV from time to time, but I'd love to open more eyes in terms of what I believe is the true problem at Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that a bit later on. And with you now on Don Robbie's payroll, I guess it's Supermalts all on you, man. You're buying all the Supermalts for everybody. So
man said Supermalts. I'll get you the Supermalts, my guy. I don't drink that still, but yeah, man, I'll get you that. I'll grab myself a Magnum or something light, Cherry B or something.
Right, nice. Let me just as we're going on to that, it wouldn't be amiss if we just talk about Claude, who was on AFTV recently on his own channel, Claude and the Bouncers. And for me, I never knew him personally, but I've seen so many people like yourself, Troops, X, everyone just with that outpouring of condolences for him, and it's so sad. And I don't know if you've seen it, but his daughter's just come out and said that it was natural causes, so all the speculation can stop there. How have you been dealing with that lately?
Yeah, it's sad, Kagey, and I don't think it's gonna really set in until I go back to games. Claude's someone that you always saw at games. It might be before, it might be after, it might be during, but that's when it's really gonna settle in. I mean, Heavy D passed not long ago. Now Claude, and obviously Claude and AFTV, it goes hand in hand. The come up was together. I had the privilege of knowing Claude privately, away from it all, and he was a good man. I know towards the end of AFTV, it didn't go well for him. I know they parted ways, but in terms of what I know of Claude personally, away from all of the cameras and lights and all of this shit, he was a good man. you know, and that's what I remember him for, you know. He was passionate about the club, you know, whether right or wrong in the end, the passion came from a good place, you know. And most of what Claude done came from a good place. Yeah, it's sad, Kagey, I can't lie. And lockdown, you know, I'm not blaming lockdown for it, but I think it hides the reality of not only Claude, but how many people have lost people throughout this past 12 months. And life hasn't kick-started again. And when life kick-starts, I think that's when we're going to realize that person's not there to call upon anymore. You're not going to see that person where you used to see them anymore. You know, we're going to have to become accustomed to that change. Right now, we're kind of hidden from all that change. We know it because of social media. We know it because, you know, we're friends, but we won't fully feel it until life gets back to normal. But I've only got good things to say about Claude. You know, I've only got good things to say on a personal level, and in terms of Arsenal Football Club, he's a legend. You know, and that's all I had to tweet about him. You know, legend, because there is no other words for me, from my perspective, to sum him up. You know, so big up Claude, man. Rest in peace, and
yeah, man.
He's up there with Rocky and the legends and whatnot. You know, so
and his mom
yeah.
too. So.
Yeah.
And the thing with me as well, Claude, man, I got kind of introduced into AFTV via people like yourself, Claude. I was always watching you guys more because it didn't matter whether you won or lost. You'd always look at the long-term goal, and that's what Claude was doing as well. You know, that whole time to go thing stemmed just off that. You know,
Yeah.
he was ahead of the curve, and he knew. So many people saying that he's wrong, he's negative. He was right all along, and people had to say, you know what, Claude, big up to you, man.
Listen, it came from a good place, man. I'm telling you, like I've gone through our chat, I've gone through the voice notes we've had over the last few years, and you know, we very rarely agreed on issues. You know, we both knew it was bigger than the players, and we both knew it was bigger than what's going on right now on the pitch. But we never really agreed on the core, you know, problem behind it. But we both knew that it was coming from the right place, and as long as that's the case, yeah. That's all that matters, you know. I can't tell someone how to feel, you know. At the end of the day, his passion for Arsenal, my passion for Arsenal, that's what linked us, and that's what I'm going to remember him for. Good man, and love the club.
And on another note, I mean, him and Ty together, I mean, that duo, I don't think it mattered who you supported, you're watching those two together. And who knows how it ended with those guys, but I hope Ty's doing all right as well, because I know that he'll still feel this, because him and Claude were very, very close. You could just tell from their camaraderie just how they were close guys at one stage.
Claude and Ty were Claude and Ty before AFTV. You know, they didn't start on AFTV. Claude and Ty started in real life, going to games, coaches,
on the coach.
home, away, all of that. You know, so that's just a natural friendship. And I haven't checked in on Ty, but I know Robbie has, and Robbie has said that, you know, he's feeling it, but at the same time, he's doing okay. And I think, like I said earlier, until we go back to games and truly get back into action, get back into the swing of things, I think that's when everyone's going to really, you know, I think every game, I can feel it. Every game, I'm going to have at least a minute or two in that game where I'm going to think, no Claude today.
Yeah.
You know, and that's going to be 2 times a week. So it's going to stick with us. But Ty, you know, him and Ty, legendary duo. You know, I've gone back to watch some of their clips. I know you've probably seen that clip recently that's resurfaced again when he read out the super chat saying something about Ty sucked off DT or something like that. And Ty's like, don't read that. And then Claude's like, it's a super chat. And Ty says, I don't care if there's money attached to it.
And Ty don't care if it's a super chat or not, if it's got any swearing. Oh, and that's it as well with them too. Stop swearing. Stop swearing. I'll swear if I want to swear. And it was just good stuff, you know. Someone here said, you know, Turkish versus Ty in the way. As different as Claude and Ty were, you two would be even polar opposites, because you're talking about the board and everything else, and Ty would be saying, well, we gotta support these guys, and I don't know how long you'd last, Turkish. So
it's funny, man. Me and Ty nearly started when I first started out on AFTV, because I was so passionately against Wenger, and you know, Ty, as Ty is, was so passionately for Wenger. But it wasn't to be, and it's nothing I'm chasing anyway. Like I said, if I believe it's coming from the right place, it is what it is. And with Ty as well, we are polar opposites. but I don't think he's putting it on. I don't think he's doing it to cause friction. I don't think he's doing it to lower standards. I don't think he's doing it for views. I think that's how he truly believes. And because I think that, me and him would never really clash to that extent, you know. You can only argue so much with someone, but if it is coming from the heart, then you're gonna have to agree to disagree. And Ty is a legend in himself too. But yeah, big up Claude and Ty.
You know what, full disclosure, I thought it was an act, you know, at first, but you realize he just sees the best in everything, and there's nothing wrong with that. There really is nothing wrong with that. But you just have to accept that even if you lose 6-0 to Chelsea or whatever, if it's raining, that will be a reason why you lost.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you know this. So listen, like I said, when I first, like you, I thought Ty was like that too. But Ty literally loves the club, believes 100% support is the way. And who are any of us to tell him otherwise? You know, at the end of the day, I believe the polar opposite, but it comes from the heart both ways, and that's all that matters.
Absolutely, man. So, you know, rest in peace to Claude, and we'll just transition into something that he would have loved talking about, which is Arsenal. And one of the reasons why I respect Turkey so much, people, is because there's a lot of flip-floppers. You can find a flip-flop in every channel. You can find a flip-flop in every pundit, but this guy will keep it as real as it gets. And I'll give you the perfect example of this is last year, Arsenal win an FA Cup. Everyone's buzzing. Everyone is on a high. Turkish then does his interview, and it's, yeah, man, I'm happy. You could tell he's happy. He loves the cup, but he's saying, but don't elude the bigger picture. We still need to be better. We still need to get some of the board out. We need to get the board out. We need to get better players. That's what I like, because you always see it, don't you, when you're saying that a player is not very good for 20 games and then he'll score a goal and then all of a sudden everyone's coming at you like saying what you're saying now. It's like, well, what was he doing for the previous 20? Turkish is a long-term thinker as well, and that's what I respect about him. So, you know, going forward for the rest of the season, you're still in the Europa League, which I think would be a really good thing to win now. I think it would be like kind of poetic if you could win it. What is your hopes for the rest of the way now? Because, you know, as I've put in the description, we're both a couple of mid-table supporting brothers. You know, just mid, just needy in
limbo,
hanging about. So what are you hoping for?
The only hope there is Europa League for us. You know, there's nothing left in the league. You know, I remember the days we was tired of just top four. You know, it doesn't mean I'm gonna now clamor for just top four now. And I know it's easy to say that considering where we are. And yes, that is the next step, but it's not the step. It's not the be all and end all. You know, so I think whether we finish 5th, 6th, 7th, 10th, 11th, 12th, it doesn't matter to me. You know, it really doesn't matter to me, because at the end of the day, I need to see progress in the windows, because that's when it comes down to the owners. During the season, it comes down to the players at disposal, the manager at disposal, and that's been put there from an owner that has been absent. So there's only so much I can critique and criticize, because we can go back 7, 8, 9, 10 years where I was criticizing Walcott until, that's just one example, until I took a step back and I said to myself, well, Walcott isn't picking himself every week.
Yeah.
You know, someone's doing that. Someone's, you know, and we look back at Walcott now and think, well, we wish we had a productive winger like that, because he was actually productive. But that's the standard slowly lowering. Yeah. I'm not looking just at top four. So this season for me, there's nothing left in it in the Premier League. In the Europa League now, there's everything left in it. Because if this video was done in January, KG, before, you know, the knockout rounds kicked off, I would have said, we ain't winning no Europa League. We ain't winning no Europa League. But over the last few rounds, I think Leicester have got knocked out. Tottenham have been knocked out. Napoli have been knocked out. AC Milan have been knocked out. And you look at the teams left, and I look at it and think, United are probably the biggest threat, in my opinion. And United haven't beaten us in the league for a couple of seasons now. Does that make me think we're favourites? No, I still think Ajax, Villarreal, these teams can cause Roma. These teams can cause problems too. But there is hope there. You know, I don't know what you feel like as big up that German top as well. That German top is sick. Yeah. I can't lie. When I saw it,
beautiful, man.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to go left field, because I just see it now with the detail on the sleeves. It's cold.
Yeah. Honestly, bro, like I've got Germany shirts going back so long, but this has been the best so far, man. It just, you can wear it anywhere. It's one of
Yeah,
these where you can just wear it anywhere. It's calm, man. You can just
that
wear it
comes
out.
back. They should have made
Yeah.
tracksuit ones with it as well, and just have that detail on the zip and everything else
Mm.
black. Come on, they should
Yeah, I mean,
I am Adidas, man. Let me do the thing.
yeah, you know what? The thing is, saying that as well, Adidas have made your kits this season have been wicked as well.
You say kits. How many S's on the end of that? Because we've had
Yeah,
about
yeah, you got loads in it. If you
Bro, it's
lose a
mad.
game, yeah, you lose a game. There's a new training kit coming out, man, just to perk you guys up. So
Bro, I
I
think
don't
we've
know how
released
you
11
guys get away with it. Ah, it's mad.
It is what it is. But yeah, where was we? Europa League, all hope. Yeah, I was going to ask you, KG, being a Leeds fan looking outside in, what do you think about our chances in Europa League?
Yeah, man. Listen, anybody that's in there right now, I think, you know, I really do want you to knock out that team that you got next, though, just, you know, for the culture. But I think that I do think you got a chance. It's funny how these things were, because you wouldn't have thought Sevilla on all the times they were successful would go all the way every single year and do it.
Yeah.
So why can't you guys? It's knockout football. You got as good a chance as anybody in that cup. And I do believe as well, Mikel Arteta is probably concentrating on that cup the most. I think there's a couple teams like that, in all honesty, from the league
Yeah,
position.
he has
Yeah,
to. Because look, if
yeah,
you look at the league, well, we 9th or 10th. I haven't even. You know what? F the league. Like, with all due respect, this season for an Arsenal fan, F the league, because it means there's nothing in it. But Europa League, there's definitely something in it. But like this comment just said from Yo-Yo, you're meant to change your opinions based off circumstantial evidence, and that's something the internet doesn't understand and comprehend. You
yeah,
know, there's one thing. Flip flops are one thing, but having substance to arguments that can change is a
yeah,
whole other thing. That's not a
yeah,
flip flop. That's someone
yeah.
that understands. You know, right now I'd say there's hope, but if we go and lose 2-0 in the first leg against Slavia Prague, ask me again then. That hope is going to be a bit thinner than it was today. So, you know, you have to keep on, you know, looking at the bigger picture. And like I said, Leicester, Napoli, and Tottenham are 3 teams that I think would have been favourites against us.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's good that they're out. AC Milan, probably another one. I think it's good for us. And I think we'll get past Slavia Prague, but Villarreal and Emery will be interesting, because that's the semi-final. Villarreal, Unai Emery coming back. That will be very, very interesting. Very interesting. I think the winner comes from that game. Like George said in the comments, I agree. Arsenal, Villarreal. I think the winner comes from that game.
What do you reckon to this? Is it a failure if you don't get to the final with the way that the draw's been?
I'd say yes. Like, I'd say yes. It's funny because I'd say yes overall, generally, if I take myself out a bit and maybe talk as an unbiased neutral, which is hard, but it's easy considering how Arsenal treated us fans. But if I'm talking to you as an Arsenal fan that I've seen what we've done over the last 5 years, you know, it's hard to expect the final, even with Slavia Prague and Villarreal in your way. So I'd say it is a failure if we didn't make the final, but I'm weary of Villarreal 100%. Villarreal are the one team that could probably stop us.
Fair enough. Just got a comment here. What is this about Xhaka and his keys? Is that an inside joke or something?
It should have been an inside joke, but Xhaka decided to tell that joke to the world, mate. But yeah, so what did he say? About 3 years ago, yeah. Bro, you know when someone tries to pump up his own chest, that's what he was doing. He was like, yeah. He was explaining how he's become a leader and why he believes he's a leader. And he talked about his mum, when they was kids, him and his brother, his older brother, his mum used to give him the house keys and not his older brother. So that's why he's a great leader. Bro.
Yeah, but you know what? He is like that though, isn't it? Because he can have bad game after bad game, which he does, but then he'll score one free kick in like 25 games, and all of a sudden you'll see a message from him. You'll see him talking to the press. It's mad, you know. He moves funny, but that's the kind of player. Yeah, that's the kind of player that you guys need to get out.
Yeah, you know what? It's become personal with him and the fans now. You can tell how he is with the fans. That, listen, I don't agree with abuse. His wife, his children, even him. You shouldn't be abusing him. Criticizing, yes. And I think that's where he's misunderstood the line between it and maybe gone too far with the abuse and taken that on board as a representation of Arsenal fans, because ripping off your armband, telling fans to F off, bigging up your chest. After you scored against Chelsea, his exact quote was, off the top of my head, people started talking after Burnley, which was the red card.
Yeah.
I like to prove myself on the pitch or some shit like that, some shit like that. And then the next Burnley game comes along and my man basically hands them a goal. Remember the one in the 6-yard box where he tried to pass it out? Yeah. That was against Burnley too. So people would start talking again. Yeah. So it's like with him, if it's become personal with us, so just move on now, Just clear your mind, move your family on, be happier, because you're not happy and we're not happy. So Xhaka...
Yeah, and that's it as well. And I remember the goal well because Chris Wood even was like, "Well, I need to celebrate, but what can I do? Because the ball's just been pinged off me like nothing." But that's the thing as well, and I suppose that's going into the futures of Arsenal, because obviously he was set to leave. It was looking very likely he was to leave, and then Mikel Arteta's convinced him to stay. He's convinced the other couple players that you would probably need to move out to stay. What's your thoughts on Mikel Arteta at this stage now?
You see that thing there, KG, yeah? There's two ways I look at, like, not just that decision, but like every decision made at Arsenal Football Club, I try and look at it with myself in each pair of shoes, for example. So I'll look at it from my perspective, then I'll go into maybe Arteta's shoes and think to myself, okay, so the board have told me I haven't got much money to spend and I've got to make do with what I've got. So I've got to maybe talk to Xhaka, win him round and try and convince him to stay on, because I've got priorities elsewhere that I want to spend the money on.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it could be that the board never told him that and he just decided, I like Xhaka. So Xhaka, stay, sign up. Now, those two, that one for me, disgrace. If that was the case, then I'd question Arteta loads. But if it was the other way, where it's kind of hands tied behind his back, I'd say, well, I kind of understand it. Because we don't know for sure, I can't judge him fully on, let's say, something like that, or something like releasing Guendouzi on loan, because I don't really know what happened. If he told Guendouzi to apologize and Guendouzi said to him, no, I put myself in those shoes, I would do the same thing. I'm a manager. My staff is failing to own up and apologize, maybe being a brat about it. Get rid. Or it could be that I didn't like him all along. And that would make Arteta wrong. It's just that all of these things at Arsenal, we don't really know definitively. Is it the manager's decision, or is it some, he's backed against a corner? Because Emery said quite often that he hasn't got what he wants at Arsenal Football Club. So that leads me to believe that if he didn't get it, why would Arteta all of a sudden get it after finishing 8th and currently 10th?
Yeah,
I don't think it's plausible. So it's hard for me to, really judge Arteta. That's why I tend to stick away from the ins and outs of Arteta and more so on the bigger picture of it all, because I don't think none of that matters right now. I think until they care more or they change up and sell, none of the things below him or below them matter.
Yeah. I mean, looking ahead then, say you want Arsenal back at the top, right? Say the money is all there and you can get players in that you want. Is Arteta the right man to get you to the top? Can you see him challenging, say, Tuchel at Chelsea next season? I think they're going to be formidable next season. I think Man City are obviously going to be up there. Can you see him getting to that level?
Are you saying that if we've got the money this summer, or let's just pretend we've had the money, like we've had the good ownership from when he came in?
No, I'm saying if you can get a couple more players in, obviously you're going to need to move a couple out. There's talk of Lacazette possibly leaving, etc. But if it's talk about working with the players. He's a coach, isn't he? So he's going to get the best out of the current players that you've got, and in addition to players that he wants to bring in. Can you see it getting better at the moment than 8th, which is where you're at now?
It's so little to judge it on that. I'm weary to swing one way or the other on it. In the what is it, 16 months so far, we've become more resolute, let's say. We still concede goals, but we fight more. We're in games a bit more, We're tending to shoot ourselves in the foot more so than previous years, where teams would just roll over us. And, you know, we've had our moments this season, but I believe that has changed. There's a lot of 2-1 losses, 1-1, 2-1 wins. There's a lot of tight games there, a lot of draws where if you change those to wins, the picture of the league looks very different. That's a positive. The way he's handled Guendouzi, Mesut Ozil, Granit Xhaka, I guess. Well, let's say Mesut Ozil and Guendouzi, because those are the main two. I'd say well done to him. It was quite big of him to come out and do those things. It's one thing Guendouzi, who's a young player 2 years in. It's another thing Mesut Ozil, who's, you know, renowned worldwide and loved and adored, and he has his own, you know, population of fans that will ride out for him at any time of the day. But he came out, did his thing, and whether right or wrong, I like that sort of an approach where you do something and you stick by it, you know, a bit ruthless, you know, and I like. Then you look at maybe the Xhaka ones where he's let him off with red cards, the way he approached Pepe's red card, which he threw him under the bus a bit.
You did.
And I look at them and I think maybe that's learning curves for Arteta, because a year in, you're dealing with this and I need to see you learn. So even though he threw Pepe under the bus and a few weeks later didn't throw Xhaka under the bus, I didn't jump on Arteta's back because, yes, on one hand, you could think he favors Xhaka. You know, that's the initial thing. Look how he reacted with Xhaka. And I did say it, but when I think back, I think, well, maybe he learned off of what he said about Pepe and rewrote his wrongs for the next one, which happened to be Xhaka.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I said that. That's something I said on the stream with Rants. I think I said it may be not that. He's a young manager. Maybe he would have seen all the backlash from how he treated Pepe and said, you know what, maybe I can't do that to my players going forward. So I do think it's a learning point for him because he's a young guy. It's not his fault that he was given the Arsenal job. You know, you're going to take it. So, you know, he did what he had to do, I think. So, yeah. I mean, somebody said there that the Arsenal squad is the worst he's seen. Somebody else is saying the Arsenal squad ain't that bad. But when I was on a preview with somebody else before our game where you handsomely beat us, I was asked how many players I would take out of your team. And in all honesty, I think I picked maybe 2, 3 tops.
Yeah.
So again, and it shows in our league positions too, because we are at this stage of the season, we're like 9, 10, 11 games to go. We're near enough the same. So I think that shows that the recruitment certainly has to be better going forward for you in order to get back. Because I mean, like so many people, I remember the days of Omri and all that good stuff, you know. But it's just like with Leeds being out of the Premier League, time ticks on. You're talking like 16 years ago. That's a teenager that's about to leave school now. They don't know Arsenal being a league contender and all that. They just know Arsenal now as the FA Cup team, the team that finished top 4 for a few years. Things started to change in people's minds. So, you know, you guys are going to have to do something in order to get with like Leicester and stuff like that, because the recruitment models that say Leicester, Everton and places like that are just so much better than, say, Arsenal and Manchester United right now.
Yeah, 100%. Leicester have done well because off the back of the title, they approached things in a way where you could see sense behind it. You could see that they sat down and thought, how do we build on this? You know, we're not going to compete with Man City, Chelsea and all that money-wise off the back of one title, but we can do this. And they've done it in a way where, you know, they sell well, buy well. They've got good names, it's good ages, and they've got a good future off the back of it. Whereas you look at Arsenal, who finished second that season and never made top 4 again since.
Yeah.
And that just shows that it's a lack of direction from above. So something has to be done, but with this ownership, I don't think it will be done. That's the problem. That's why it's no point always bickering about the players or the manager or the director of football, because it's all a problem. But why do those problems exist? Because the owner of the whole company doesn't care, and that's literally it.
Yeah, I mean, look, this comment on the screen now. I know what 1-0 to the Arsenal trying to say here, but it's not that Arsenal aren't a big club. Arsenal are a huge club. They've still got all the pulling power in the world. It's just that what's going on is that they haven't got enough people in positions that know football. When you're talking about Leicester and you see how they've recruited Fofana, Tielemans, you know, Castagna, James Justin down at Luton. There's a thought process behind that. Even let's go into the Championship with Brentford. They just churn out players and then sell them on for a huge profit because they've got a director of football that knows what he's doing. Arsenal don't really have that. It's a scattergun approach, just like Manchester United. That's why those clubs have kind of faltered a bit. So it's not that West Ham, Leicester are bigger. It's just that they're recruiting better, which in turns means they're playing better. That's it for me. What do you think to that, Turkish?
The recruitment is the key thing. You know, if you make a mistake when you recruit, it can set you back 4 years. Talking about a big club, can West Ham, Leicester sign Aubameyang? No. Can they sign Thomas Partey? No.
Exactly.
Can they sign Mesut Ozil, finishing top 4 every season, doing really fuck all? No. So in reality, that shows Arsenal as a big club. Now, that big club status still remains because of things off the pitch. I understand that. On the pitch, we're not justifying the big club status, but commercially we are. In terms of brand, the brand itself is. Yeah, that's what makes us big. And that's those examples I've given are examples that those clubs can't do. Leicester, West Ham. Put West Ham aside for a sec because it can be flash in the pan, but Leicester are a better team than Arsenal right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Better team, but bigger. That's going to take a long, long time because you can't erase history, you know. So that remains. So for teams to catch up to that, it's going to take a while because commercially is where separates the big six. Obviously, remember we talked about my shop, the big six because of commercial revenue. It was the top 6 show initially. Arsenal soon effed that up. So I changed the name to Big Six because even down to the accounts released in January, you could see a clear differential between the Big Six clubs' revenue and the rest of the league. That remains because it just is. Is it fair? It's not fair, but it is what it is. Go on.
No, and I'd add to that as well. We joked about it earlier, but it's true. You guys can release a limited edition training kit and it gets sold out. I don't think Leicester, West Ham could do that at this moment in time because they don't have that worldwide fan base that Arsenal do. So that again, that ties into the whole Big Six thing, which is what Turkish is talking about.
Yes, I'm a bit envious of that too because you know those clubs still have. Well, let's not say West Ham, but Leicester still have a club that can't be milked for its commercial appeal because it doesn't really have much. Whereas Arsenal and Man United are 2 examples, of giants that have been milked to the point of finishing out a top 4 consistently now.
Yeah.
That's exactly the same things happen to Arsenal United. It's just that United are bigger than Arsenal, make more money, so spend more money. But it's literally the same thing. They've both been milked. And Leicester, you know, maybe one day in 20 years, they might be big enough for an owner to say, I like that business. Not, I like that football club. I like that business. Because Kroenke definitely came in saying, I like that business. I like that market. Not, I like that league. I like that team.
Yeah.
You know, it's very different when you look at it like that. So I think, you know, it's going to take a while for them to catch up. But that means nothing. I say catch up. And I wish it was the other way around. I wish my club still cared about the football on the pitch and building the club stature up like that, like Leicester do.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, but it's like you know, it's like, would I erase the memories Arsenal gave me growing up, the historic moments? Never. But they have been the catalyst for these shrewd business owners to come in and think, yes, it's our time now. You know, they wasn't coming in to buy the clubs far off the league title. Yes, Chelsea got bought. Yes, Man City got bought. Man City were quite far off, to be honest. But after the way Chelsea came up, I think that set the precedent for that. But I just think with Arsenal United, we're products of greatness being milked. That's probably how I'd put it.
Yeah, and I mean 1-0 to the Arsenal again. He's talking about this, and I've covered this before, and he followed up with Ancelotti, experienced manager. Look at Everton. He's correct there, but I think I said to you on your channel, Turkish, about Arsenal wanting more of a head coach that didn't demand a lot. If you're talking about a Mourinho and Ancelotti, they're going to ask for this and that, and I don't think this current Arsenal board want that in their head coach. Do you think that's pretty accurate?
Surprisingly, I think that. Well, because I say surprisingly, Arteta got made manager the summer just gone. You know, he got switched from head coach to manager. because that's what I would have thought initially. Ancelotti, you look at his wage packet, 11 mil a year, I believe. Around the time we needed a manager, the club or someone came out and said, we don't have much money for a manager. We couldn't afford Ancelotti. We couldn't afford, if someone wanted Jose, we couldn't afford that level of manager. So we got Arteta because we can afford him. And even if we could afford Ancelotti, we couldn't give him what he wants. These big managers wouldn't come to a club, risk it all for nothing. They'd have to have something there to say, you know what, I'll take that risk. But if you're telling them, listen, we ain't got money, we ain't got quality players, we ain't got this, we ain't got that, but we do have fans and a good Adidas brand that brings out kits. A manager like Ancelotti is not going to give a shit about that, So I think I get what he's saying and the sentiment behind it, and that is the standards to keep because, that does show ambition. Even though Tottenham went with Jose, and I think that was the worst decision they could ever make, I understand that Levy did it with ambition in mind. It was the worst decision. There was ambition behind that because he was getting rid of Pochettino to bring in a manager who's won stuff before, big names, all of that, but it hasn't worked out. Thank God for that. But at least he showed some sort of ambition, whereas our club told us we've got no money and went for Arteta. Obviously, 18 months later, we're in a similar position with a cup under our belts and Mourinho has nothing. But it just shows that our board and ownership is still the key problem. Ancelotti, none of these managers will sign for this club under this ownership because they don't offer the manager nothing.
Do the Cronkies own Colorado Avalanche, which is a NHL team, ice hockey? Do they own that as well as the Denver Nuggets? Do they own all those Colorado teams?
He's got Denver Nuggets. He's got one of them football teams. Is it Dallas Cowboys? No, he hasn't got Dallas Cowboys. I don't know who he's got, man. Let me just quickly search it now. Cronky Sports.
Just while he's searching that, people, man, get the likes up, man. If you're watching, like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Obviously, go to Turkish's page. You know who he is. Just like the stream, people.
Yeah, you're right. Colorado Avalanche, Colorado Rapids, Colorado Mammoth, Arsenal FC, Los Angeles Gladiators, Los Angeles Gorillas, Denver Nuggets, and the Rams.
Yeah, listen, you know what? The Colorado Avalanche, I know you probably don't know anything about ice hockey. I know, but they are doing bits now. And you just think of it where his teams in America are just doing great. Is it LA Rams? LA Rams, yeah. So Colorado Avalanche, just yesterday, they beat a team 9-3. That's how good their team has got in the NHL. And he's spending the money there. He's getting players in, he's signing players on long-term contracts there. And it does make you think, because I always think, I know how good Colorado are now. Why doesn't he do that with his British venture? But when you, unfortunately, like with your fan base, you're so passionate and loyal to it. When you're releasing kits and it sells out, you're not really giving him a reason to put anything else into it. That's just my opinion anyway.
When you've got a company that's made you quadruple your investment without you doing nothing, why would you start? If you don't care about them, why would you start? You're going to focus on the ones around you in your city, in your country, and you're just going to use that as an investment tool. Profit comes in and it goes back into the other franchises or ventures or projects or whatever it is. I know with the American system, it's a bit different because of salary caps and draft and all that. So I'm not too sure how similar it is in terms of how much he'd need to spend. Well, I know on the stadium for Rams, he spent billions. So that is clear cut that he's got the money. But with the contracts and stuff in all of them American sports, I'm not too sure how it compares to football. And
it's a lot less. I'll just go on the hockey tip. He recently signed one of his key players to like a $9 million a year contract over 8 years or something like that. The cap is a lot smaller in NHL. I swear it's like 100 million now. It's not that big, but he's making sure that he locks up all the key pieces over there because they're very close to winning cups over there.
Yeah. That says it all. With that one, there's a lot more balance to it. With football now, you need if you want a successful rich owner, it needs to be someone like Roman or Mansour, where they're in it because they love winning. They're competitive. Kroenke is not competitive, or if he is, it's on the stock market, not like this. So I just think that that those are the sort of rich owners people would like at their football club, not the ones like the Glazers or Cronkays or FSG.
Yeah.
Let's not get it twisted. FSG are a prime example. Listen, with Liverpool, I said it's going to happen. And I didn't think it happened so soon, but their lack of quality investment over the last 2 years and not building upon the back of, you know, a 90-something point season, finishing second, Champions League win, and then Premier League win. They didn't adequately fix the side or bulk it up. Why? Because the owners haven't really changed their methods. They just found the magician, Klopp, who made it work. Liverpool sold Suarez and all that money got wasted by Rodgers because the manager and the team behind him decide where it goes in the direction. Klopp sold Coutinho, made it work. And that shows the difference between what you said earlier in terms of, is Arteta the one to take us forward? We don't know, because he hasn't done anything like that for me to say, or Pochettino for me to say, look how he's worked under a stringent budget, you know. But if Arsenal want to do anything under this ownership, it has to be someone that's going to do something like that, which is something out of nothing. That's how I see Klopp and Pochettino at Tottenham and Liverpool. They produce something out of nothing. And that's what Arsenal are going to need under our owners.
Yeah. I mean, the Liverpool model was, in all fairness, it's worked very, very well in terms of they've got youngsters that they knew weren't going to be good enough for the first team, and they sold them at a premium. You know, what are we talking? Solanke to Bournemouth, Jordan Ibe, I know he's going through some stuff, but at the time, again, it was overpriced. Ryan Brewster just recently for 23.5 million with a 15% sell-on clause. They know what they're doing in terms of business at Liverpool, and that's why it's worked so well for them. So, yeah, I mean,
they had to fix it. It wasn't long ago we was all laughing at them about Charlie Adam and what's his name, Stuart Downing, and remember they used to spend peas on just, what are you doing, you know? But they had to change it up eventually, and down the line. And I see someone said FSG will spend this summer, and they might well do, because at the end of the day, you spend money and win stuff, you make a lot of money in football, you know? I think Kroenke is the way he is because when he bought it to now, the money quadrupled off the back of commercial deals and off the back of the TV rights and all that changing. So he looks at it and thinks that makes me money anyway. Obviously, the last 2 years, it hasn't made him money. That's the key. The last 2 years, we've made losses. So it's coming to that point now where he might have to think about it. But we also know he's part of talks for the European Super League. Now, if the European Super League happens, Arsenal's value quadruples again. And he hasn't done nothing. So he might be waiting for that, regardless of loss on loss on loss, which is going to be for the next few years. He might quadruple his money again because of a European Super League. That's got nothing to do with us winning. That probably sets us back even more. Would I want to play Barca, Bayern Munich, Juventus 2 times a season when we can't even compete with Burnley and bloody, you know, I don't want to see it yet. You know, I don't want to see it yet until we fix up. But I don't know, my bro. It's mad. It's mad.
Yeah, it's that is, it's, you know, that's wild when you really think of it like that. You're just going up to Lewandowski and Gnabry and all them every couple of weeks, and they're just like knocking the brakes off you. But
we'll get relegated in that sort of league the way we'll run right now. You know
what? You know what it is though? They'll probably make that Super League where there won't be a relegation. They'll probably make it like the American system where you don't get relegated. They just do something else for you. Yeah, man. Okay, man. So yeah, we talked about that, and you know, I got Calvin Phillips in the background there in his Leeds shirt because that's how he plays for Leeds, man. He's dynamic. He's I don't know what it is with that England stuff. I saw someone else mention Timo Werner. He disgraced this beautiful shirt against North Macedonia. I mean, come on, man. He had his Chelsea boots on for that one. But you know, the thing is, I said to Tobes, man. I said to Tobes that Werner and Havertz both play differently for Germany, and they do. Havertz has looked good in the games, but Werner, that was like he was playing for Chelsea. It was just so mad, so mad. And this one here, England trying to sabotage Phillips. The thing is, there's been so many people that have said that Phillips don't look good for England, and I would agree with them because he's not playing how he plays for Leeds. But then you could, for quite a lot of the players for England anyway, in their respective clubs, the only one that I've seen recently that plays like he does for his club is Jack Grealish.
Yeah,
because he don't care. He's a maverick. Do what he needs to do to be Jack Grealish. But you can see Phillips. He's passing it here. sideways, back. I mean, he's doing everything that I criticize people like Harry Winks and all these guys for doing. So I don't like to see, but hopefully as he gets more comfortable, he'll improve. But you also need the manager to give you the license too, and he doesn't have the license like he does with Bielsa. I just wanted to touch on that because I've seen it so much online about Phillips being like the odd man out, but he plays much better than that.
Do you know there was a time? You're similar age to me. Do you remember that time when it was all up in the newspapers and everything? Arsenal didn't field one English player, or Arsenal had Sol Campbell or Ashley, whatever. It was always like there's no Arsenal player in the English squad, and I loved that because anytime people go tournaments with England, the media headline is always negative. They come back with their heads down because no player goes to a tournament with England and comes out the other end of success. Michael Owen, one of them, cool. Off the back of that Argentina goal, I'll give him that. The same tournament, Beckham nearly came out like, one of the most hated men in the world.
He didn't nearly though, Turkish. If you remember that time, boy, the heat was disgusting for Beckham. And even me, back then, I knew. Then I was like, "What is going on?" And people have taken it way, way too far.
Yeah, so
he got sent out. Oh.
Yeah, I'm glad that's why I'm glad there's obviously Saka's now in the England setup. I get that, cool. Like, big up to him. Hopefully, he's a success. But I've been watching football for 25 plus years, and England have been let down after let down. I think Euro '96 is the only tournament where I'll give credit that I saw from start to end, and England done, something and excited a little and came at the other end with something. Maybe the 98, but yeah, maybe 98 as well. But aside from that, it's been failure after failure and negative headline after negative headline. Sterling, Kane, Phillips now. They're going to tournaments. Gareth Barry was injured one year, and they'll act like Gareth Barry being injured was the reason they didn't win the tournament. And I'm just thinking, what's going on around here? Like, it's all mad with England. Now they got Gareth Southgate in charge. Like who makes these decisions? Honestly, like, it doesn't make no sense to me. But it is what it is. Turkey are doing their thing. That's all I know.
Yeah, I saw that as well, man. I saw that. But in regards to England as well, you can go on with so many things with England in terms of thinking that they should win stuff when they just automatically selecting Stuart Downing on the left because he can play with the left foot.
Yeah, do you remember that? You remember that? Well, we've been through some mad times. The England national team and the English media, it's like their enemies. It's like their enemies. It's like the media either build them up so much for them to fall, or they rip them to shreds before they even start. It's like it's never balanced going into a tournament. Never.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, there's so much with England. You could go on and that, but we're gonna move back onto the good club stuff.
Yeah,
and what? I'm never usually happy for an international break, but I gotta admit, I was starting to get a little burned out with club football. I think it's just because there's just so many games accessible to watch now. You kind of just like watch them, and you're like, some of the games are just so poor.
Ask me my favorite game of the season so far.
Go on then. What's your favorite game?
Turkey 4, Holland 2.
This guy.
But I'm being real, this season so far, that brought out the most in me. So big up the international break this time round. Big up the international break. For me, it gave me my best football 90 minutes passion all season.
Can you imagine? I don't know if you've ever thought about it or spoke about it, but can you imagine if like Ozil and say more recent now Gundogan stuck with their original country?
Yeah, and Jan, that would have been a 3-man midfield. Emre Can, Ilkay Gundogan, and Ozil in front of them. But instead, and how many teams face it? It's not only Turkey, Ireland. I'm Irish as well. Ireland are shit right now, but we have 2 players playing for England, Declan Rice and Jack Grealish. Yeah. You bring them over to Ireland, Ireland might actually be all right and might actually make a tournament.
And also, you probably don't know, but Ireland were chasing Patrick Bamford for years and years, but Bamford has aspirations to play for England, but he can qualify for Ireland, and you got to think Bamford would be first choice for Ireland.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. And look, we go to Nigeria. We just talked about Saka, another one. Big up Iwobi, who did pick Nigeria, but then Saka's another one. You look at France's squad.
Yeah, Africa.
3 of the 25 were African, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Only Giroud and Lloris was actually full French in that squad, off the top of my head. Everyone else, Cameroon, Mali, other areas in Africa. So you just think, I just think to myself, it's not really fair, is it? But it is what it is. It is what it is. At the end of the day, the countries that
More
have
commercial. They're more commercial.
that welcome immigration as well, they're gonna bear fruits of labor. That's why USA, if they ever start taking it serious, in 20 years, USA can be a force, because in terms of a multicultural population, there is none like the US. We think we're multicultural over here. That country there, look at the size of it, and then delve into the numbers. I think that's a beast in the making if they start utilizing this loophole, because I call it a loophole, because the way England played Grealish, Ireland were talking to Grealish. England said, let's give him one cap, take him off the radar. They gave him that. And to this day, 25 years of age, he's still not playing week in, week out for England. Doesn't make no sense. But, Ozil retired from Germany. All of a sudden, he became Turkish again,
Yeah. I was going to say that as well, because the way that Ozil's been received, especially since he's been back to Fenerbahce, you would have thought that maybe playing for Turkey would have given more fulfillment, especially with the way that he's clashed with Germany. But it's another thing, isn't it? It's that commercial thing, just like Sterling, England instead of Jamaica. You could go on.
New guy, Musa.
For who?
Is it people in the chat? Who's that young guy that chose America recently? He's a young prospect. I think is it Musa or something like that. And if you hear his story, he was born in America, raised in Europe, and his parents are something else. He picked America because of commercial. Who is it? Someone in the chat tell me, because apparently it's a solid young, like, next up, like the next top prospect. He's picked America, and it's because of what you said. Commercial deals. Yunus at Valencia. Yeah, Yunus Munster at Valencia.
Oh, yes, I know of him. Yeah.
He picked America.
What is it? Someone saying he picked Germany. Nah, I don't think that's him. I think.
I think I said Musa. I think he picked Germany or something like that. There's that guy for Bayern Munich. He picked Germany.
Yeah, he's playing for Germany now. He's been recently capped. He got capped on this international break here. The one for Valencia, I've definitely heard of him, and I think he has chosen America. I think that's correct.
And for me, it dilutes international football for me, because it just becomes a competition between the elite again. Essentially, it's like a Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, Bayern Munich, and that is France, England, Germany. And what's the correlation? Immigration. How many Polish men play for Germany? How many Turkish men play for Germany? How many African men play for France? England? How many Jamaican men? It's slowly but surely there's an elite form of internationals like coming through, and it's for me.
Even for Germany, Miroslav Klose. Just imagine what he could have done for Poland. But
Podolski, innit?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many, man.
Yeah, Podolski's another one.
Could be
I'm telling you. And I just don't like that, because when I was growing up, international football was always separate. It was like club football, competitive, and then everyone would just go to their countries, play football, and move on. Now it's like, who should I pick? Like, let me talk to my agent. Like, what's my dad gonna say? Like, should I pick England over Jamaica? Jamaica are dead. Like, they're not making the next tournament. Like, what if I go Jamaica? They might give me Puma. If I go England, I might get Nike. And things like this is the reality that the England players and players picking up all of these teams and national teams are thinking. The money, it's not right. International football should be, I remember growing up and international footballers weren't paid. Now they're paid, bonuses and all of this stuff. It's different now. It's all money.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It's like we've got a young centre back right now, Pascal Struijk. He's in a battle at the minute with there's a few countries battling for him: Indonesia, Belgium, Holland, and I think there might be another one. And it's like, it's your nationality. Like, how have you got so many to choose from? I know that we're all mixed essentially, but you go where your heart is. Like, who would you prefer to play for when you're internationally representing? What is your team? And that's how it should be for me. But like you say, you know, even Wilfred Zaha, I know he gets a lot of credit for picking Ivory Coast in the end, but that's only because he weren't getting picked for England.
That's the problem. What's it? Andre Gray said. Andre Gray, all of a sudden, at 30 plus years of age, said he's going to play for Jamaica, and he's wanted to be real, Gray. Because I respect that you're doing it, but be real and open the eyes of the next generation and say, listen, it's not fanciable to play for Jamaica. And I was against it, but now I think to myself, you know what? Like, it doesn't make no sense. Like, we should want to. And then you might turn the heads of other players, and then, you know, people slowly start jumping on. But the way it is now, it's Mahrez. Let's go back. My favorite player of all time, Zinedine Zidane. Where's he from? You know, that France 98 team, Patrick Vieira is another one. Thierry Henry is another one. And now Trezeguet, all of these, man, you know, it dates back. These things date back. It's mad.
It's historical, man. It is historical. But you know what? We'll move on from there now. We'll talk about our games on the weekend. Firstly, we'll go with Arsenal, Liverpool.
Yeah.
You see, usually you think, you know, previous Liverpool teams, you think maybe not Arsenal, but you just don't know these days. It's like Liverpool are almost, I know they won just before the international break, but they've been playing like a middle of the table team lately. So what's your feelings going into this game coming up?
It's one of those ones where, bro, what I just said to you about the league, I just think that there's nothing in it. So what I want to see is a good performance, but that's just for the next game, which is Slavia Prague. For me, that's what it matters for. I want to go and fight. I want to see some fight. That's it. I don't want us to get pumped. I don't want us to lose embarrassingly. I don't want us to make mistakes. I want us to just turn up, efficient, fight, and know that the next game is our cup final, because the Europa League is the cup final every week now until the final itself. So I think Liverpool's a funny one. Liverpool have been funny all season. Arteta's had a good result or two against them since he's been in charge. Usually, you'd just say Liverpool walkover. You know, that would just be what I'm used to as well. But I think it's an interesting one because international break as well. Yotta's had a good international break. He's had a very good international break. Odegaard, on the other hand, hasn't had that much of a good international. Does that have an effect? I don't know. It's hard to predict Arsenal, Liverpool.
It's tough to call. Even before doing this, I was thinking, I don't know which way this game's going to go. Yeah, I generally don't have a clue.
Yeah,
like someone says here, it's usually an entertainment game, and that's true with you guys. But usually lately, it's been Liverpool that have been dominating those kind of games. But I don't know. You know, I'm not so confident.
Yeah, I think it's always a crazy game, but I think this one's going to be more towards the boring side, if I'm honest. I think both teams, no pun intended, will go into it a bit cagey. Come on. I think that's like literally, I think Arteta will go into it with Slavia Prague in mind.
Yeah.
Liverpool will go into it with top four, you know, on the cusp of maybe losing out. You know, they've still got some hope in it. So I think they're both going to go in a bit nervy.
Liverpool are still in the Champions League, aren't they?
They are still in the Champions League as well.
Yeah. So they'll probably be looking at that as their main thing as well, probably.
Yeah, I wonder if with the Champions League, because they spread it out to like 1 week, it's one set of teams, then it's the next set the next week. I'm not too sure if Liverpool are actually playing midweek straight after us. I'll double check now. But if they are, then that will be in the back of their minds too, even though they haven't really had a tough draw. They actually got a good draw in the Champions League, a good round. Let me just check quickly. Liverpool. Yeah, Real Madrid 3 days after away.
Yeah. Just looked it up. Yeah, so there you go. You're both just probably looking at this league game like a Carabao Cup game, man. I'm going to see some kids out there or something like that. I could be mad.
Let me double check what's the standing. Let me see how far. Liverpool are 5 points off Chelsea in fourth. So there's still that's the thing about it, you know. Do you think if you're a Liverpool fan now, KG, do you have more hope in top four or Champions League? So you're 5 points off top four, or you got Real Madrid next in the Champions League with PSG, Bayern still about and all of that.
Yeah.
Which one?
You'd have to go with history and take your chances in the Champions League. They've got form. You know,
Yeah.
when it comes to knockout football, they've got form in that. So for me, I would probably say that because I know they're just 5 points out, but you got to think of the way Chelsea are playing. No one's hardly getting through them. You know what I mean? They're just clean sheets here, there, everywhere. Leicester are still doing their thing. And somebody made a comment earlier, and I didn't highlight it, but it's true. Leicester, even with all their injuries, are still up there competing.
They've done very well.
You know what I mean? And for me, I think that just puts the emphasis on the Champions League just a little bit more, in my opinion. I don't know if that's the way they're going to go, but
I'd agree.
Yeah, I mean,
Chelsea, West Ham, and Tottenham to be slipping up in the last 9 games.
Yeah, and that's another thing as well, man. West Ham are being quite disrespected too, because West Ham have done brilliantly this season. They're playing some really good stuff as well. And then even when they haven't been playing so well, they set up so well that they can get that result and just move on to the next game.
Yeah, they've come over a few humps. They've come over a few humps.
No, is Saka still hurt?
Yeah, well, because the press conference is not out yet, I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'd leave him off anyway because Thursday is more important. So even if he is ready, I'd give him 20, 15 minutes maybe.
Okay, no problem there. So we don't have a definitive scoreline from Turkish. He is going to sit on the fence.
Let me just throw one out there. 2-2. I'm going to go 2-2.
Good old Desmond. Right. So for us, Leeds United, we're at home against Sheffield United. Right. Now, there's things with this where people, Leeds fans especially, will say, be careful of Sheffield United. They got nothing to play for. They could have got together over the 2-week break, and Paul Heckingbottom's our ex-boss, so he'll come for revenge. But I don't see it that way. You know, we came up to the Premier League for a reason. If I cannot be confident with a home game against this Sheffield United team, then I might as well just give up. So,
I agree.
You know what I mean? I just can't do that. What's this? 2-2. You see these guys. You know, Sheffield United scored 16 goals all season.
Imagine, I'm looking at it now.
You know what I mean? Oh my days. Patrick Bamford's got 14 goals this season. And you know what? And again, we're circling back to a comment earlier where it's about changing your opinions. You change with the information. When we came up, did I think Patrick Bamford was going to get 14 goals before the season end? No way. No way. And I didn't think he had it because of and you're going by the evidence that you see. And in the Championship, he was so wasteful that, you know, people saying he's missing chances now, but you haven't seen anything. We was creating the Championship, like it wasn't even funny. And he ended with 16 goals, which people always say, oh, that's really good, but it's not in the team he was in. But the Premier League obviously just suits his game. Now, hopefully, this isn't a LEESHU season. This isn't a Michael Ricketts season where he's one and done. You know, hopefully he's the same again next season. But that's what we're talking about in terms of just changing your viewpoint when the information moves, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that when you say someone's crap one week, he scores, then you say, oh, he's really good, and then he doesn't score again, and you say actually he's crap again. That's the kind of like conversations that I just can't entertain.
Flip-flopping, you know, that's flip-flopping. Yeah. But I think, like, look, if you look at history, for example, Mitrovic, someone who smashed it in Championship, more so than Bamford, yeah, comes to Premier League, and has he bust 10 goals yet in any season? I don't think he has. But Bamford, when someone gets 16 as a striker, especially for Leeds, you'd think it doesn't bode well for him in the Premier League. 10 goals is the target. But he's on 14-2 away from his Championship figure. So he'll probably equal it, if not better it.
Yeah,
I'm surprised too. But, you know, there's something about him. Where, you know what it is? He misses hella chances, but when he bangs, he bangs. It's a sweet strike.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know if you saw his hat trick against Villa earlier in the season, but I didn't know he had that third goal where he's moving his feet and dancing around and it goes top corner. I didn't know he had that in his locker. But in all fairness as well, you don't get that kind of time in the Championship because there'll be someone behind you just ready to clatter into you if you do anything like that. So I think things like the VAR and more space, a little bit more time on the ball helps him in the Premier League. Helps him as well that he's got Bielsa that's backed him all the way. You know,
frees him
Bielsa,
up a bit.
yeah,
Confidence.
yeah, that's it. Bielsa loves Bamford, and even when we was crying, I was like, no, please drop Bamford last season. He stuck with him. Even when Nketiah was there, he said, no, Bamford is my player. And I think we can see the fruits of that right now in the Premier League. Like I say, I want to see him do it next year. I hope he does as well. Because, you know, he's got all the hunger. He's trying to get in that England squad. He likes to see himself at the top of those scoring leaderboards. So he's got the individual sites as well as the team goals. He's just got it all to play for. He's playing for a new contract as well because I think his deal's up in a couple of years. So, yeah, VAR's cost him 2 goals. You're telling me, man, but you know, but that's what I'm saying, man. It's good to see. I'm always happy to be wrong in those instances. Love being wrong. If when I think a player can't do something, is that your team? There's nothing better than being proven wrong.
Exactly. Prove me wrong. You know, that's what I want. I'd rather you prove me wrong because it's easier to prove me wrong than to replace you and find better and, you know, all of that. So prove me wrong. That's what I say to all my criticism about Arsenal.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So hold on a minute. Let me see. It's not a game should be losing. We'll love to see. Yeah, Rebecca, man. Shout out to Rebecca, man. She's commented on a lot of my videos, man. So big up for the support. It will be difficult, but we have to win it. It's not a game we should be losing. Looking forward to it, though. We'd love to see Leeds banging a few goals. Yeah, I mean, I do feel the same as well. I think we will. I think that it's nothing against Sheffield United. It's just that the way it's gone for them, and you can kind of see they've checked out.
Yeah, you can see that. You can see that.
Yeah, they're not even doing the basics properly anymore. And I always said as well with Sheffield United that the recruitment wasn't going to be good enough this season because you could see it was kind of sagging towards the latter part of last season. Like the maximum out of those players was starting to just not be good enough anymore.
They relied heavily upon Wilder as well. Wilder's not, you know, like, yes, he brought in different tactics. Yes, he implemented them well, but you need someone else for the transfer window to help him with that, with those decisions and with that. And it just didn't happen. Brewster is a prime example of panic. Now, how do you leave yourself with a week 2 left in the transfer window and then go for Brewster at 24 mil? It's mad.
Well, this is it. The Prince, I don't know if you've heard the Prince of Sheffield United come out, but he said Wilder wanted to quit a couple of times and demanded 4 million as a golden handshake.
Yeah.
He's saying that Wilder got most of the players, and I believe that. I don't know if all of what the Prince is saying is true, but I do believe that those are Wilder signings.
Yeah, I'd say so.
That British good stuff, you know. That's why it was called the Brexit Derby, and it with them and Burnley. You know, just old-fashioned meat and potatoes, you know.
Yeah, but I see it.
Yeah, it don't work though all the time. It don't work all the time, and it's shown this season. The quality just hasn't been there. When you go from Dean Henderson to Aaron Ramsdale, you're looking for trouble.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, man. So I'm thinking it's going to be a calm 3-0. You know, maybe even 4 if we really go for it. If Rafinha's on it.
3-4.
Man.
It might be 3-4-1. I'll say 3-4-1 because the way Leeds attack, I think you're always susceptible to a goal. So I'll say 3-4-1. But yeah.
That's fair enough, but they're not that good, man.
They're not. But you know, they throw it in the box and McGoldrick gets his chest or shoulder on it and bundles it in the back of the net. Listen, if that happens, call me, KG. You know that sounds likely as well. He's done it before, mate. He's done it before.
Yeah, man. You know what it is? He's got a good record against Chelsea, man. He bumps his numbers up because he don't score against anyone else but Chelsea. But it's mad. But that's the thing as well. And I just want to say that as well. We're talking about Sheffield United in second season. That's where we've got the advantage on a club like Sheffield United. We're already ahead in our signing processes. Yeah. You know, by getting someone like Rodrigo in, Rafinha in, which has been what a signing. Mad. You know, we've already gone ahead of a club like Sheffield United. So that's why I'm not so worried about that second season syndrome. I don't think we're gonna get it.
If I was a Leeds fan, you got a solid manager there, you got a direction, they believe in it. I wouldn't be worried if I was a Leeds fan, definitely not.
Yeah, and Bielsa's looking like he's gonna stay. So I mean, I think it's only going to get better for us. And our owner does have aspirations of getting into Europe, and he's never kept that secret.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the difference. And like John H says here, all the signing were Wilder signings, probably apart from Sanderberg. And Sanderberg is looking Prem quality. Yeah, there's going to be a few teams in the Premier League that will be looking to take Sanderberg. So they'll want to probably get him back so he can play in the games, just to show that he's fit again, because he's been out for a while with an injury. But yeah, for me, cool win. And you know what? In my household, it's important because my partner, she supports Sheffield United, so it's just gonna be madness. You know what I mean?
Say nothing.
Yeah, man. So you know, I don't want to gloat too much, but sometimes I just can't help it. You know?
Yeah, it's gotta be done sometimes. It's gotta be done.
Yeah, and to Mezu, of course, yeah, I do. Just on the basis that he wouldn't have expected European football next season. He would have expected it to be part of a project. And as long as we get the next batch of signings in to improve our first 11 and squad, I do think Rafinha will stay. But obviously, if we get a eye-watering offer that we can't refuse, he'll possibly go. But even our director of football, Victor, has come out and said he's not entertaining many phone calls. So that's promising. But you know, in football, things change all the time. So don't hang on that. So as we wrap up here, Turkish, somebody has said this, and it's a fair question. Will there be a Big Six show tomorrow?
Yeah, there will be a Big Six tomorrow. There will be a Big Six, 10 p.m. the usual time. We'll be back.
Absolutely, yeah. That's good to know, man. Because Big Six is one of the few that I watch in full. It's always good, man. And Tobes is he still don't learn. How does this guy keep getting wound up so easy? I just don't get it.
Yeah, I love it. The perfect one as well. I have all of them. The Tottenham one, perfect.
Yeah, and he bites every single time, man. Every time, and it's just
he just flips. He doesn't let the point go. Sometimes it's like nah.
Let me finish.
Yeah, that's what he's like. Look at Heiberg 2 months ago would have made the player of the season. Nah, mate, we're not talking about 2 months ago. We're talking about now.
Oh yeah, man. Shout out to Tobes, man. He's my guy, man.
Everyone Big Six, man.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Is it? Do you want to plug anything before you go? I think you're going on another stream tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm on LFC Day Trippers with Grizz, 10 p.m. So I'll be on there in about half an hour or so.
Okay, man. That's good, man. And of course, you can find Turkish on his own channel, AFTV Regular. You know, he's the man, man. I really respect him and appreciate him for coming on, because he didn't have to come on today. I would have understood if he needed to back out after what's happened this week, but he came through for me, man. So thank you very much, Turkish.
No worries, KG, man. Come on, like I said, it goes past YouTube with me and you, so it's nothing, my bro.
Yeah, that's true. He's always rattled. Always.
He comes on the show rattled, but I guess that's the life of a Tottenham fan, isn't it? You gotta be on guard, car. It's a glass house where he's at.
Oh man. Well, listen, people, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Like the video, share, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We're gonna leave it here. So peace out, and I'll see you after the Sheffield United game. Thank you, Turkish.
Hit the like button, people. Hit the like button.
Hit that like button.